Jonathan, good to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, man. Thank you for joining me today. So, I've been waiting for this interview now. I've been excited to talk to you, man. So, we're just going to get into a little bit of what you got to share for the audience. So, if you could just share with us, who you are and where you're from, we'll get started like that.
Yeah. So, from Abilene originally, so not too far from here, 3 hours straight west, an easy drive. Moved a lot growing up. So born there, moved about 10 times growing up. My dad was in pharmaceutical sales, so always covered with medicines, new companies, that kind of thing. But ended up actually back in Abilene to start high school. So got all that done before we were 14, and stayed there through high school and college. My parents and family are all still there. So
Okay.
it was my lifelong friends that I call them are all my high school friends, college friends. So that was the start of it.
And Abilene, Texas?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
and that's about how far from Dallas?
We're at 3 to 3.5 at most, so it's easy. You hop on 20, and it's straight there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
cool.
bad. Yeah.
Did you prefer that? I know it's home. Did you prefer home over Dallas, or are you a city guy?
I like the country aspect more. I mean, being in Abilene, it's a lot slower, of course, and a lot smaller, and I like that. I miss that a little bit. But it is nice being in Dallas when there's just more to do, and Abilene's growing, but you come here and you can drive 10 minutes and do almost anything, and the restaurants are better, and of course you pay for it, but
Yeah.
it is nice.
How long have you been out here?
I've been here for a little over 8 years now. I think 8.5,
Okay.
9 years.
All right, so about the same time I moved out here.
Okay.
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, but I moved out here right after college, and spent about a year in College Station, and then another year in Beaumont, and then around 2017, I want to say, we moved out here.
Okay.
In Dallas.
Yeah.
So I don't know all the areas as much as I should, so that's why I'm asking. Like, okay, how far is that?
Yeah.
So okay, cool. And then what are you doing now?
Now, I'm a dietitian. So I've been licensed and registered by the state of Texas for about the same time, about 8 years. So I think I came out here around 2016 to get my license to go to school for dietetics.
Okay.
The ACU, Abilene Christians program from Abilene, is in Dallas because they don't have the kind of network in Abilene that we need to have enough service hours and shadowing hours.
Okay. So what, can you explain what a dietitian is, what the dietitian does? How'd you get into it?
Yeah, so to start at the bottom, I got into it just because in high school, I've always been small. I've always been a small guy. I was very short.
You've been small.
Yeah.
You ever hear that?
Yeah. Took a long time to get here.
Okay.
But in high school, I think getting into it, I was 14, 15. I was around 90 pounds and like 5'2", 5'3", mean tiny. And I always had the insecurity of just being too small. And that was when I really discovered lifting weights and what that can do and how you eat. And I was the kid that would stay after practice by myself and go push the sled or do sprints and do that.
Wow.
And I loved it. It was when I saw how my body changed so quick and just from me putting in extra effort and eating right. And I was the kid reading articles on bodybuilding.com for years, printing off pages and research. And I didn't know what I was doing, but it was still, I loved the idea of learning more how to help myself improve my own insecurities.
Okay.
And it was every summer I came back into football practice, and I was 10 pounds heavier, and it was so much fun to see my body grow and the coaches see it. Yeah.
And that's kind of amazing too, because a lot of times when you're young, our metabolism is like.
Okay.
A lot of times, when we're young, our metabolism rate is like super fast. So oftentimes it's hard to gain weight like that. So that's pretty. 10 pounds every season.
Yeah. I'd come back every summer and be 10 pounds heavier.
I'm sure your coaches appreciated that.
Yeah, they did.
And what position did you play?
It was a small school. I went to Jim Ned High School, and it was 2A. So we had our standout athlete forever was Colt McCoy. He was my quarterback in high school. So that was kind of one of those things where if you're decent, you can play anywhere. So I started playing receiver and safety and did punt, kickoff, return, and then senior year got moved to outside linebacker, and then actually backed up Colt as quarterback, and never threw a single pass. I was just fast. They literally tell me it's an option and you keep it and run.
Yeah, you were a dual threat.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I remember Colt, Texas, right? and then he went on to the NFL for a couple of years. That's pretty cool, man, that you got to play with somebody professional. So, dietitian, what is it?
Yeah.
How'd you get in it?
Dietitian itself is really just all about nutrition. And in the clinical setting, it's always going to be about staying in the lines of what that hospital allows you to say, which is the hard part. But it's about prescribing education and offering education and recommending supplements to help meet needs based on their nutrition assessments, whatever their deficiencies are when they come in. I've been at a few different hospitals around Dallas area. And so, for instance, one of them may be a long-term acute care where they come in typically older, or they're there for a few months at a time after a serious injury or an accident, something like that. And we always have to go do a nutrition assessment. And so it's more of looking at their current intake, any issues or any problems that may hinder them from getting enough food in right now. And then if they're malnourished, how their skin is, if they've lost muscle tissue, that kind of thing. And then any extra stuff like burns, injuries, brain damage that may require more calories on top of that. Then it's here's an education for what you're going through now. If you have diabetes, hypertension, whatever it is, or burns, that kind of thing, here's why you need more calories, and then here's some supplements, or here's an eating regimen I recommend you try while you're here with us. And that's pretty much it. And
you got into it because what interests you about that?
To be honest, nothing about the clinical setting is why I got into it. I got into it only because I remember actually sending an email out to my friends and family when I went back to school to be a dietitian. My first degree was in biology, and I was going to go to PA school.
Okay.
And I had plans to try to go to the PA program at Harding in Arkansas. And the summer before, that same summer, I just felt God tugging on my heart, just saying, "Hey, you're chasing the wrong thing. I think you're chasing probably money and an easier career." Because I used to work for medical sales after college, and I had some of the bigger surgeons in Abilene that I worked with very closely and were closer to. They would say, "Hey, when you go get your PA license, then you can come work for us. We'd be glad to have you here." And it was
so kind of like a job already waiting for you when you get done.
Yeah. There's a big group of 4 of those guys at one place, and they knew me very well, and they trusted and respected me. And I had a buddy who was a little younger than me that was also a PA already, and he was already working with one of them too. So they were all kind of helping to get me on that track. And I didn't even end up applying that second time. I went to first round interviews, the first round of applications the year before, didn't get in. Second year, talked to Harding, and I was going to go have a school visit. Was pretty optimistic, and then didn't even apply again. I was like, nope, God's got different plans. And I sent an email to my friend and family and just said, "Hey, I love nutrition. I love weightlifting. I've been into bodybuilding a little bit as well. And I felt like I was trying to push that off to the side and make it a hobby instead of a career."
Yeah.
And it scared me that I was going to lose that. And so I said, what should I do? Should I go pursue PA school, or should I go back to school, be a dietitian with the dream of becoming a sports team dietitian and strength coach? And every single person said, go back to school.
Every single person.
Every single person.
So you asked several people.
Yes.
Because this was, I imagine, a big decision. So you wanted to make sure you get it right.
Yeah. I probably asked 10, 12 people, like my close family, and then 4 or 5 of my very close friends, and asked them all the same thing, and every single one said, go back to school.
Go back to school.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we're headed back to school, and we're gonna do this thing all over again.
Yeah.
Oh man. What was some of the motivation that you used to keep going during that time? And can anybody do dietitian? I mean, or do you have to be a certain person? Do you have to be built a certain way?
Not built a certain way at all. I think the only thing that's required to be a dietitian is you have to go through the set nutrition track on a nutrition degree plan. Then it's usually a 2-year degree in itself. Because even though I already had biology, I didn't have nutrition stuff in there. So I had to go back and do 2 more years of school on the track of dietetics, just for nutrition that meets the needs for a dietetic program.
Yeah.
And then you have to get accepted into a dietetic internship program that's about 1.5 years. And then you have to get licensed. And then now a master's is also required. So I went back and got my master's after that anyway. So it was a longer road, but worth it.
So my question that I have, and that I'm sure that people are listening to you have, is why should we listen to you?
Yeah, great question. Very fair question. So I would say because of my education and my experience alone, I think that speaks and holds some value. But just like anybody else, we all know just because they have the letters next to the name doesn't mean that they know how to apply it. So I think on top of having the education background, I also have the experience in work that I've shown I know how to apply what I'm doing very well. And then I have it in my own experience. If I did my bodybuilding stuff, I've had my own clients, I've used my own tools in my education to form my body the way that it is. And I think there's a big piece to being your own billboard. If you don't look the part, then you're not going to trust me. If you saw me in a parking lot, you might say, he looks like crap, I'm not going to trust him with anything. Then I'll tell him that you're like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Like I want it to make sense when you hear it.
Right.
So I think it's a combination of education, experience, and the proven ability to apply it. Is a huge deal.
So you say that, and I'll just give you an opportunity. How much experience do you have? I mean, I know you mentioned your experience, but for people that don't know you, like what type of experience are we talking about? How long and what kind of experience?
Yeah. So I'll count my bodybuilding as experience because that was when I got to practice on myself, and I even have a couple close friends that were not into dietetics and stuff, but more into the powerlifting lifestyle that were really big factors in helping me do that kind of stuff. But it was trial and error. The first 2 or 3 years I did bodybuilding, I was trying different diets and see what works. Then I had a buddy I was like, hey, this stuff's not working. I feel awful. What can I try? He gave me good recommendation and tried it. And then from there, I kept tweaking my own stuff every year, every few months of seeing what works. And so I had about 7 years experience in the bodybuilding world doing it naturally, of learning how to change things without the use of as long as drugs like steroids and stuff, and which is a big deal. And
so you didn't hire a coach right away?
No.
So many people I talk to that want to start, they hire a coach, somebody who's won, somewhere, and they, begin their journey that way. But you were kind of figuring it out on your own.
Yeah, and I think more so because I knew I had that good friend of mine. His name's Jace. He's a great dude. He had coached other guys in powerlifting, and he knew. Of course, in powerlifting, it's a whole different thing. It's more of get as big and strong as you can and lift a lot of weight. Mine, it was get as big as you can, but then cut the weight and stay within a range or stay within a height category. Right. But I had the comfort, that was a blessing for sure, having someone like him in my corner that I could reach out to and text here and there and say, here's what I'm doing, does this look good? And then even going through high school and most of college already, of just trying different things and learning my body likes carbs or my body likes fats, whatever it is. I had a lot of experience with myself already, being very intentional, that I think isn't as normal nowadays in a high school setting. Like I remember, like I said, being 15, 16, even printing off articles on bodybuilding.com, learning what I can do and what to eat and when. And my parents were both huge aspects in that. Obviously at that age, you're not expected to cook for yourself. But my dad would make breakfast every single morning, like pancakes and eggs and sausage, and then make me a big shake to take and drink. And then I'd have tons of food and sandwiches packed for snacks. And then I'd come home and have dinner, have a big shake before I go to bed. So it was the support from family. Tons of it. Tons of protein, tons of carbs, everything. Or it wouldn't have happened. And so I think that's where the experience started. It was probably to go all back to high school. It's just learning how my body can change and what it takes, and really the threshold of what's the most I can do before I reach being uncomfortable, reach throwing up, which even happened. It's weird or gross, but when you're trying that hard to reach your own goals, like that happened a few times, and I could be uncomfortable and I have to go throw up and come back like, well, I can't do that again. Now I know where that line is.
But you know what line not to cross.
Exactly. And then it was getting into bodybuilding and having that close friend of mine to reach out to, and then having 4 years of kind of doing it more on my own, of learning what my body likes, and that it's healthier to stay in a tighter weight range and work on building lean muscle than the guys that put on 60 pounds. They also didn't have to cut way down. I realized my body likes staying in a tighter range, and then I can cut easier. I can cut for 1 month and go into a show and do really well versus cutting for 6 months or 4 months.
Right.
And then after that, it was the clinical setting, which that was more of a box I had to check to be able to make money and sit and even get into the master's program, that kind of stuff. I had the education experience. I needed something stable to do. Nothing about the clinical setting was a part of my goals. And,
that's just a necessary part of
it was. And then even to be a licensed sports dietitian, a registered dietitian for sports, which is my next step, you have to have 2,000 hours of sports experience that are logged with a supervisor, and then you can actually sit for that exam and be registered for that. So that's the next step. But the experience from college and bodybuilding went on to my own business, where even during work days, I would have 2 or 3 consults a week sometimes of just new clients that would come in, and I'm practicing my own skills. And here's how I have consults. Here's what I can do for this person and their needs and their body.
Yeah.
And then continue to tweak my own thing as my goals change as I get older.
Yeah.
Then with the Stars, I started with the Dallas Stars.
You started with the Dallas Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my beginning of my sports experience, I would say.
Okay.
I did a little bit at ACU when I was in college for nutrition. I was a student strength coach and nutritionist.
Yep.
And that was nice to get paid to be there and help those athletes when they became a D1 school. That was a lot of fun. And I think all those years were more of me practicing how to reach athletes, what works, what doesn't, versus just stepping in thinking I know it all.
Right.
And then getting with the Stars and having a really, really awesome couple mentors like Brad Jelly, the strength coach, and then JJ McQueen, who was one of their player
I know
recruiters.
nothing about the Stars.
Yeah.
So you're telling me all this stuff, but yeah, these are important guys for the team.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and JJ stood with them. He's one of their player recruiters. He's one of the guys that travels and looks at the younger guys coming up, and he was very impactful and just in me personally, and is still a very good friend of mine, and getting me in there. He's a guy I first met with to meet up with and just kind of connect, and he was kind of the go-ahead to actually get me in the door. And then I got to go speak to the Stars players. I mean, as a guy that's at this time probably upper 20s, 29, 28, somewhere in there, but fresh out of getting my license and working in the hospital and walking in the door with these athletes, and I was asked to come speak with them about nutrition real quick, give them a little educational piece, and then help the strength coach forming tests. And it was a lot. And it was a
lot in a good way.
A lot in a good way.
Okay.
Yes, it was getting over that nervousness and just seeing they're just normal guys, and they've got a lot of respect for their people that help them out.
Yeah.
I'm still good friends with Brad as well.
So that's a good point. I mean, they're just guys. As soon as you said that, I immediately thought, like, what would you say is the biggest misconception that people have in regards to weight loss or losing fat, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants this dream body, right?
Sure.
Everybody's dreams are a little different.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest misconception, in your opinion, to how to lose weight?
The biggest misconception is just that it comes off quick. Because we don't usually go 2 months like, oh crap, I gained 20 pounds. It's more of, oh crap, I gained 20 pounds in the past couple of years. But did that happen? It's over time. Our lifestyle changes, we get too busy, and the misconception is that it's only 20 pounds, I can lose it in a couple weeks. But we don't realize it takes lifestyle changes to make the more impactful changes in your own body that are gonna last longer. If you're sitting there trying to say, I'm just gonna go on a quick diet and start working out again, it's gonna fall off. It'll come off, but of course the goal is to keep it off.
Yeah.
If you don't go into it with the mindset of, I'm gonna make a lifestyle change, then you're making quick, short-term changes in your life that aren't actual lifestyle changes, and that's what I call just the diet mindset. Yeah, and it's not going to last. It can't, and you can't sustain it.
Yeah. I've heard that before too. So, I mean, what's realistic then? I mean, if you're saying that the biggest misconception is that weight comes off fast, what is a realistic expectation? Is it 1 month? Is it 60 days? Is it 90 days? I mean, I feel like there's so much stuff out there of people advertising like, hey, join my coaching program and I can get you to look, 10 pounds lighter in 6 weeks, or do this military style training. Yeah. So what would you say? Like, what's a good balance?
Yeah, my head's spinning with answers. I go different directions. I love context and how I can answer different ways, but to be more precise than that, of course, that has to depend on the weight you have to lose. Like if you come to me and saying 10 pounds in 6 weeks isn't that bad.
Okay.
But if you come to me and say I need to lose 20 pounds in a month, like that's tougher. So then I have to tell my clients it always depends on, of course, the weight that you have to lose and a time frame you have available, because theoretically a healthy weight loss is around 1 to 2 pounds per week.
Okay, 1 to 2 pounds per week.
Yeah,
okay.
And that's the 2 pounds being the top end of what's healthy, and healthy in terms of if you lose too quick, you're going to lose muscle tissue as well. Because if you're in a deficit and your body feels safe in that deficit of calories, you can lose a mostly fat tissue. especially if your protein's up higher. You can keep and even build muscle a lot of times in a good, well-balanced diet and lose fat primarily, even build a bit of muscle during the process. But if your goal is to lose 15 pounds in a month and you've got a tight schedule, you're going to have to cut deeper. And the only way to lose that much that quick is also losing muscle tissue. And so that's the downside of it.
So what is, I guess, what's the most important part of losing weight then? Like if you're, I know we're giving the audience here some value. So help us out. What is the most important part of getting this thing right?
Yeah. The most, in my mind, would have to be making it a lifestyle.
Okay.
And that's a generic answer, and I know it's vague.
So you can elaborate.
Yeah.
We'll give you time to elaborate.
Okay, thank you. So if someone asks me that, I have to say it needs to be a lifestyle, because then it goes back to what I was saying earlier of, if you commit to it of, I'm going to lose weight real quick, I want to just work out 5 days a week, I'm going to add in 30 minutes of cardio, I'm going to eat 800 calories less a day, you'll probably lose 2 to 3 pounds a week for the first month. You could lose 10, 15 pounds in a month. But it's not a lifestyle. You can't sustain that long term, which means at some point it has to stop. Okay? Or at least whenever you meet your goal and you have a wedding to get ready for, whatever it is, vacation, as humans, we're like, I reached my goal. Now I can, most of us is now I can stop. You started it for one purpose.
Right.
If your purpose is not greater than that one goal, you're not going to keep doing it.
Right, that's so true.
So if it's not a lifestyle, if it's just that specific goal, once you reach your goal, you're done. You come back from vacation, life resumes, and you stop working out, you stop doing cardio. Like, oh, I already had a vacation, I'm good, I met my goal, the pictures look great, now I'm happy. And your weight starts going like this.
Yeah.
And so it has to be a lifestyle change,
You're preaching
not a diet.
But how do we do that though?
Yeah.
How do we make something a lifestyle?
Small, short changes. That's the way it has to be. I would tell, then that gets into more of, if you would say what's the top 3 things that are important, I would say inside that lifestyle change, to be more specific, it'd be protein has to be high, has to be a priority.
Okay, so high protein intake.
Yep, high protein. Okay. Usually the recommended amount is around your body weight in protein a day. So if you weigh 215, 220 pounds, and you want to lose body fat, at least maintain a bit of muscle, I would even say start a little higher than that for you and go like around 230. Okay. And that's still pretty safe. Okay. As far as you have room to add on top of that if you need to.
So how does one do that? So I mean, that's a lot of food.
It's a lot.
And most people aren't trying to be bodybuilders. Mm-hmm. So what is what's a layup way to get that much? Because that sounds like a lot.
It is a lot. And even to kind of hit what you just said, or they don't want the bodybuilding lifestyle or even that look, that's not even to get that bodybuilding look. Which is, you were like, crap, I don't want that. Yeah. It's hard. And I've got a few clients
You're talking to somebody who doesn't eat a lot. And for me to eat 3 meals a day, it's like I have to force myself to eat. And there's a lot of people that's busy, they got kids, family. So help us out, man.
Yeah.
How do we get that?
Sure. That's where, and I'm never going to turn to supplements first. I think there's a thing called the hierarchy of nutrition that breaks all that down that I'd love to get into with all my clients. But supplements, to make it quick, are last on the list. So you don't start with, I'm going to add a protein shake and hit my needs. You start with, what is your current routine for eating now? Do you usually skip breakfast and you wait till 11 or 12 to eat and you eat lunch? Or do you just wake up and eat breakfast and then you eat again until 4 or 5 p.m. and have early dinner? We got to find, where's a gap in there where you're not eating where you could have time to eat. And if you don't eat breakfast, I have one client right now who hates breakfast. They're always like, I don't want to get up early, I don't want to eat, I'm not hungry in the mornings. Like, okay, but you're missing, if you wake up at 7 a.m. and you don't eat until 1 p.m., you're missing a really big 6-hour window where you're choosing not to eat. Right. Even if you're not hungry, try a small snack. You get up and have some yogurt and some fruit. And as far as volume goes, it's not that much, but as far as nutrients go, it's very nutritious. Yeah. And its protein's got 20 grams, yogurt, 20 grams of protein in some of those things now. And they have the protein yogurt that Oikos makes, and it's great for that. So
are you telling people to get their butts up in the morning?
Yes. And to be even more simple, it's just don't be lazy with it. Yeah. Just find a gap in where your day is and make yourself eat. Have something prepared. Having something prepared has got to be it too.
Preparation. That's big. Yeah.
If you go to the fridge, and you're like, oh, I don't have anything. Then the option is either get fast food or do nothing. Yeah. True. And so having a day or one evening, a couple times a week set aside to prep food is huge.
Okay. So preparation, high protein intake, and you mentioned the second one. What was the second one?
Second one, I would have to say, is going to be balance.
Okay,
It's balance, and that it's another very big term, but about balance in terms of you're not trying to cut too much. You have to still maintain some kind of normalcy in your life. If you have the mindset of I'm going to lose a quick weight, I'm going to cut all my carbs out, that's not balance. At some point, we all know how it feels when you're hungry, you're craving those sugary foods, those fat foods. That's going to happen quicker. If you provide balance and you say, okay, I'm going to let myself have these things that I like to eat still. Like I'm going to have Sour Patch Kids, but instead of having an open bag in front of me where I just munch and munch, or I'm going to have whatever it is, whatever kind of your snack is, or bag of chips. Instead of saying, I'm going to eat whatever I want to because I'm craving them, it's more of, this is not as healthy as I need right now, but I'm going to let myself have a certain amount that I'm in control of, that still helps me get over those cravings that I'm having, so I can keep going 2 or 3 more days without having that craving come back.
Yeah.
So having the little spurts of intentional, I call them off-plan foods. I don't like the term like cheat foods, but because it's okay to have those. Actually, better to have those. But having those off-plan foods intentionally every 2 to 3 days in a controlled amount helps you kind of decrease and even negate those cravings that you're having, because like, no, if I wait 1 more day, I can have them right there. Why would I cheat? Or then it would be cheating. Why would I cheat now because they're in the office and just stag them right now? Then it becomes an issue of self-control.
Right.
So giving yourself the option of balance and not over restriction is huge. And the reason I said balance is a very big term because it also goes into working out. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
If you don't lift weights and you're going to say, okay, I need to go lift weights or do some kind of workout 5 days a week, going from 0 or 1 to 5 to 6 is huge. That's honestly, it's painful. And your body goes from being used to exerting a certain set amount of energy on average per week to exerting this much energy per week, and then your deficit of calorie intake goes from probably in a surplus because you've been fat for a while. Now you're going to lose weight and your energy intake goes to here. Like the total, I guess, negative balance now of the energy in your body, energy in terms of what you're losing when you work out, the energy in terms of what you're eating less of goes from this to this. And so it's a huge change that you're probably decreasing 8,000 calories in a week of food intake alone, and then burning another 2,000 a week. And like that's going from a net 0 deficit to a 5,000 deficit is insane.
Now have you heard of like the people that talk about, oh, if you just eat 1 meal a day, then you can look super shredded. And the people that are saying this are shredded, and so you're looking online on social media, wherever you're seeing this message. And I feel like there's just so much information out there. Now, me personally, when I was in the best shape of my life, I did most of what you're saying, which is, eating more, really self-control what you eat, right? But I have come across different, influencers, we'll call them, that's saying, hey, I only eat once a day and I take these vitamins and look at my body, right? And so have you seen much of those? I mean, is it like one of those things where there's no one size that fits all, or is it, are they just selling us products?
I tend to think most of that is them using a body that they didn't get doing what they're saying they do.
Okay.
It's most of those people I did something different the past 10 years that shaped how I look now, but then I tried this though and it works well, or they know that the hot thing right now is intermittent fasting, so I can teach you how to get shredded like I am, more genetically anyways, for eating 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you in context that, but you have to eat 3,000 calories in one sitting. Like that's how you do that. You don't, that doesn't come from maintaining muscle and being shredded and looking great and having energy. It doesn't come from the just eating 1 small meal a day. Okay. I think we take it out of context. Better to say they don't provide context. 1 meal a day would mean you still have to meet your needs, and then they go into, oh, well, if you can't do it this way, now you got to have 2 meals.
I see what you're saying. Okay, that's good. I didn't even consider that. Yeah, I'm thinking just like one little regular size meal,
Yeah, no way.
So what is creatine? Can you explain to us what creatine is? Because you said protein was the most important.
Yeah.
And now I feel like everybody's talking about creatine. Not everybody, but a lot of people now are talking about Turkesterone.
That's a more of one of those hormone supports. Another one is like turmeric or curcumin, same thing, is a big one. Turkesterone isn't as popular. It depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at testosterone stuff, that'll pop up a lot.
Okay.
It's natural. I don't know even know as much about that one, but there's
not a lot of information on it.
No.
But creatine seems to be like the new,
yes,
whatever. So what is that?
Yeah. Well, creatine is it is the most widely and long-term research supplements in the world. Like it's been proven toward, even actually looked up back in back in the 80s. It was being used by the Olympic lifters. Like we've known it works really well for a long time.
Okay.
And it's safe. There's used to be reports of it harming kidneys or
if you take too much of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even now, that's been shown to be completely false.
Okay.
There has been shown, unless you already have some kind of kidney damage, but then it's going to be completely safe. But so creatine, it's found in red meat, a lot of different kinds of meat, in protein sources, and it works by making your body hold on to more water, which can increase your rate of protein synthesis, which helps you recover better and even kind of stay in what's called the anabolic state. And so and I say hold water, not in the sense of like you're swollen like after you eat Chinese food, but in the sense of in your muscles, because it will make you hold what's called intramuscular water. And you need to have that water to create more ATP, which is just energy in your cells. And then that increase in the water also helps you with increased rate of protein synthesis, which is your ability to recover and rebuild faster. So it's been used across the board for increasing your training, by increasing your ATP production, which is, again, your energy. Theoretically, you can have 1 to 2 more good reps in a few sets when you're doing your workout, which means you can have increase in strength and endurance. So it helps you prolong the workout better, and at least feel better longer and live stronger. And then with that increase of the intracellular water that you're holding on, you recover better, you have more protein synthesis goes up. And it's been shown to work for me even endurance, like I said, with strength training, even in cognitive benefits, even showing the benefits of people that have Alzheimer's, and even with injuries. All the athletes that we have with the Stars, a big part of the regimen before, because I did a paper on this in my master's, was on creatine. And it was about, if you're taking it before you get an injury, especially what's called a non-use or disuse injury, which means you have to limit the mobility of a limb or something for a while, you can't move it.
Yeah.
The ability to recover better and faster and return to play is a lot shorter. So taking creatine when you're not injured is huge. And then at least getting on that protocol when you are injured after surgery or something helps you recover and come back quicker as well.
Do you currently take creatine?
Every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So this is something that you do, and not something that you're just talking about.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you take it in conjunction with the protein.
Yeah.
For optimal, I guess, results.
Yeah. I would say take creatine even with some kind of sugar. Sugar is a very, very beneficial, and I would even say mandatory if you're trying to recover better and build muscle.
Okay.
And that elicits what's called like the insulin response. And insulin is the strongest hormone in the body. It's not testosterone, it's not estrogen, it's insulin. And if you want to get an intentional insulin response, your blood sugar has to go up. But what it does, insulin is a storing hormone. So if you take some kind of sugar, especially after you work out, and say you do a bunch of curls, you have a good arm day, your arm is inflamed. And the protein, the muscles in that are broken down.
Right.
So then you want to recover quickly. That's where a protein shake comes in handy. It's made to digest in 5 minutes if it's whey protein. They'll in creatine with that. They'll in some kind of sugar with that. That way, the sugar makes sure that everything you're taking at that one time, you get the blood sugar response, and it gets shuttled. It's a storing hormone, again, insulin is. So it gets stored where you need it most quicker. And so all of a sudden, you take 30 grams of sugar and protein and some creatine, and you can recover this much quicker versus trying to go straight to a solid food meal and get it from food. It may take 4 hours to break down and absorb.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, creatine with sugar is better than creatine by itself or protein.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what is this deal where, women I feel like often feel like they don't want to get to the gym, they don't want to get big, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to get these big muscles.
Yeah.
What do you say to our female audience that are like, okay, this sounds like a bunch of guys talking. What do you say to them who who want let's just say a body that they desire.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily want to get to the gym because they don't want to be big like bodybuilders.
Yeah, they're scared to get bulky.
Yeah.
So I always have three answers to that. One of them is, it's more of a joke, but I've been working out for 25 years with the sole intention of getting as big and strong as I possibly can. And this is the best I've done in 25 years. So they're not going to go into a workout and touch a weight twice and get too big. They're not going to go into it for 6 months and get bulky. It won't happen. They're going to develop muscles they haven't used before, and they may see a quicker initial response, like you do with anything new, but you're not going to keep growing at that same rate. Like it becomes, exponential. That's not how it works. You don't just keep growing at the same rate. So I would say stick with it. But if I'm not going to get grossly big and bulky in 25 years, nothing that they're going to do in the first 6 months to a year is going to be too much.
Okay.
And the second one is, most often what they're doing is they're comparing themselves to women that work out like they see on TV, like on CrossFit, without the context of who that person is in life. Most of them, CrossFit athletes that are that good to be on TV and social media, they were athletes through a very young childhood age and high school and college. They spent their lives in sports and knowing how to work out and being very fit. It's very, very rare to see someone at that level that looks muscular and toned and works out that way, that is new into the sport and just hops in and does really well. That doesn't really happen.
Okay.
And so, but they have the mindset of, if I go do CrossFit or if I go somewhere, I'm going to look like them. Like, no, you can't. You don't have the experience. Your body doesn't know what it's doing. Just go try it.
Yeah.
And so the third answer is more of the anecdote of go try it, of just go push yourself, see what happens, let your body adjust. There's nothing you're going to do in the first few months that you can't undo anyways.
Right.
You're going to be just fine. And they've got more and more studies now coming out showing that the best predictor of longevity and health is muscle tissue. Yes, especially lower body, like leg, thigh muscle tissue is one of the bigger ones. And so if your goal is actually health and longevity, then if you have the goal of going to the gym to put on muscle, not just to burn fat, it's a totally different goal, then you're going to have much more progress. And that even gets into, if you have the mindset, I would ask you, a mindset of, if you're going to go into the gym and you, without the goal of getting big or strong, but just to lose fat, would it be the same as you walking in the door saying, I'm going to get strong today? It can't be. But so having the mindset alone of pushing yourself harder to get stronger and to get leaner and healthier, building muscle alone is going to be allowing you to burn more calories just in the way your mindset is shifted of working harder, that you're going to burn calories and lose fat in the process anyway. So why not shoot to be better and get the same goal of losing body fat than just walking in with a lower goal of just, I want to get smaller.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
So why do so many women feel like it's so hard for them to lose weight?
Yeah.
It's so hard for them to lose fat, but guys can just drop it off. You know?
Partly because it's true. It really is. Unfortunately, genetically, hormonally, women have it harder, and that's true. It's harder for them to lose fat, or at least it's harder for them to see it as quick as we do. We can cut weight, I think more so because we have more muscle tissue. And muscle tissue holds carbs, it holds water. We just hold weight better because we have more muscle tissue. If I told you to cut back on 100 grams of carbs for the next 5 days, you'd probably lose 5 to 6 pounds. But it would just be water weight. So and part of that too is they confuse water weight with fat weight. This number on the scale means nothing without context of where is the weight coming from. So we can get smaller because we can cut, we have a muscle, so we'll see a bigger change in a shorter duration than they will, because women have more fat tissue, they have breast tissue, they have usually larger bottoms, they have more fat tissue. That's the way they're built genetically. And hormonally, the bodies aren't designed to hold a lot of muscle like we are. And so losing weight for them is going to be harder to notice just because of those.
Yeah.
So for women, I would say the goal again would be just try to get strong. If you're eating high protein in a deficit and you go work out to actually get strong and not just go start doing cardio to lose body fat, if the ability to put on muscle tissue is going to, like I said, is going to burn fat in the process. And then the more muscle tissue you have, you burn more calories at rest when you have more muscle tissue. So that will help a lot.
That makes sense. So let's pause 1 second. Let me make sure this thing is still doing what it does.
Yeah.
I'm almost done.
Okay, you're good. This is fun. Yeah. So I want to circle back because you asked me that question about like what's the top thing to do, the best thing to do to lose weight, and to be healthy.
Yeah.
And the first one again was protein. Second one again I hit on balance, and that has a whole other long range I went into. The third one was kind of what I was just saying, was you have to incorporate some kind of exercise, some kind of weight training specifically. And I tell a lot of my clients, and I love the term of working out can be the catalyst to other change. And if you think about it, you don't really get excited about eating healthy and being in a deficit. That's not fun, not exciting. You don't get a dopamine rush from that.
Okay.
But you do about working out because you become addicted to it in a healthy way. You go to the gym and you feel better. Your body's dopamine. You feel good. You have energy. It fights depression. Everything about working out makes you a better person mentally and physically, and it makes you stronger emotionally as well.
Yeah.
But food doesn't do that. So I tell my clients, anybody wanting to lose weight, you need to have some kind of activity, especially lifting weights. Running alone can do it if you're one of those runners and you hit the high and you're good, but that's also a different kind of person that gets that level. You're not going to go run a mile and feel that. So go to a gym, start small, lift weights, 30 minutes, have some kind of routine that is weightlifting, some kind of exercise that helps you get on track and helps be the catalyst to change. You're not going to go work out, then go eat fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's all of a sudden you go work out like, oh, I got to make that count.
Yeah.
I have to go
I don't
better
want to
now.
reset yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'll be honest, and this I know for a fact. There are some people that have this relationship with food that is very difficult. I won't even say they don't want to, but it's just difficult for them to kind of separate their love for food. Like that is part of their enjoyment. They go out to eat for fun, just to hang out.
Yep.
How can people who want to get fit, want to be healthy, but have that unhealthy relationship with the food, help us begin to kind of disconnect so that we can make it count?
Yeah, great question. So that gets into more of, and the word you said was like relationship with food. That's a mental piece. So that's not something. Yes, that is much more of a mental and even emotional behavior. If you have feelings and thoughts and emotions that are tied to food and going out to eat, it can either be I like being social, or it can be I like this kind of food, or food makes me feel safe, food makes me feel good. That gets into a whole other aspect that's outside of the whole dieting by itself, because now all of a sudden we're going to have to fight mental and emotional food behaviors that are not normal, that are becoming normal, but they're not healthy for the most part. Because to break up your question, if someone just said, I like to be social, like that's not a big deal. Then pick 2 nights a week to be social. We'll plan your day before that to meet those needs. Yeah. And you can still have those nights. Totally fine. Be careful what you're eating. Make sure you eat less going up to that, enough calories to allow that, and you're just fine. Right. Not an issue. Obviously, the more frequent that becomes, the less you have control. Yeah. So it becomes more of you plan ahead, have some kind of control, set a parameter of what you're allowed to do per week that allows you to be in control, and you're going to be just fine. Yeah. If it's more of I have cravings for this, or I see peanut butter and I eat the whole thing, or I have to have, if I see food at the office somebody brings in, I can't say no. Okay. That's an emotional food behavior. And so that's a much, much deeper issue that takes months to fix. Yeah. And I don't like the word fix. That takes months to address and even help them see what the issue is, and we learn what it's tied to. Is it because you have the fear of I can't have it anymore because I'm on a diet now, so I have to have it? Is it the fear of losing it? Like, great, then tell yourself you can have it. Yeah, that'll help.
Because I feel like the chemicals, right? I feel like the manufacturer of they study, what makes the body crave it, right? Yeah. So it's just like, for example, Lay's, original chips, and they always say you just can't have one, And I feel like at first it was just a great marketing. Yeah. But then as you study, you get to realize like, no, there's actually strategy that they use in order to make the body crave it more. Mm-hmm. So like some of it, do you think some of it is just cravings? Like how do we break cravings?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of what you're talking about. I think there's some things they know that we like snack food. We like easy access snack food. They know salty and sweet, sour, those are some great go-tos. I mean, chips and salsa are kryptonite for me. I mean, that's my go-to. But, or the sriracha onion chips, like, and it's hard to put them down. And once we start, we can't stop. But I would say it's more about the fear of not being allowed to have it, that we can't touch it again, or it's, I'm bored. And when you get bored, being idle hands is it's true for a reason. Like, so being able to say, okay, I'm craving it. And that's again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. Say, I'm craving these chips. Have some with dinner. Tell yourself, okay, I'm allowed to have this much of them with this meal that I'm in control of, and it's going to be okay and it's safe, and then I can have them again in a couple of days. Okay. That way, it takes off the table. Just because you're on a diet, you can't have them anymore, because you can't. And so then you kind of start healing that emotional tie to food, because again, one of my clients was, oh, they brought donuts in. Like, have a donut. I don't care. But now your calories have to go down though. So you're like, great, that's fair. They would happily eat donut or eat the chips, and knowing their calorie intake for the day just dropped by 300, like that's okay, that's fair for them. And now it's, well, now can you control it? That means probably tonight at dinner you don't get to have your bedtime treat though. You can't. You don't want to have both. Then we have so there's got to be a balance of pushing what allows you to practice at least some self-control while still growing your emotional behavior or connection to food.
Yeah, right. So. Right. That's good. That's good. So I hear that you got this lovely business of ours, right? And I wanted to get you on the show partly to talk about that, because I can geek out about business, but the audience is here to hear some value that you can add. So can you just tell us a little bit about, what your business is and how you help people out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my nutrition company. It's called Fit for Him, and Fit for Him being God. It's just faith-based fitness. And it's nothing that I push on clients or try to be overly in your face about. It's honestly more about just being kind and being patient and helping someone else, especially in the realm of health and fitness. Because when I was competing in bodybuilding, it is full of the obvious piece of like being conceited and vain, and it's all about looking good physically but being ugly on the inside sometimes, or it can be about looking and appearing being very healthy but being very unhealthy inside. And I think a big piece of that also comes from respecting yourself enough to say, if it's not healthy, I shouldn't do it, or I'm going to use this and use my platform that I'm getting, or honor my body in a way that pleases God, and versus just myself. It is a very, very selfish lifestyle, being into bodybuilding and fitness, and because it has to be, right? All of a sudden, your world revolves around what you need to eat, when you should sleep, when you should work out, and nothing else can matter.
Right.
And so I love the idea of being different, like being in the setting and being willing to help somebody else out, but making sure that what I'm saying and doing honors God above myself. Okay. And
so is this like a coaching service that you provide for your clients that are trying to get healthy and get fit?
Yes. So it's a nutrition consulting business, and we do workouts as well, but the primary focus is nutrition consulting, and to do it all virtually. And I usually manage around 40 to 50 clients a month that are all virtual online. A few of those are athletes. I love working with athletes and trying to get into more of the younger, like high school age athletes right now that are a lot of fun. I think that I have a really big passion for helping people that are younger. When I realized, especially when I was in college as a student strength coach, and realized we get kids in I remember our big D1 quarterback came in his first year, had never touched a weight in his life because he was a quarterback that was really good, and the coaches were always scared for him to get hurt. Never touched a weight, didn't know what to eat, didn't know what a carb was. It's like, how are you 18, 19 years old, and you're this good, and you're this athletic? I mean, imagine what else you could be doing, or the progress you would have made if you had this stuff earlier on. So I love the idea of start them young, teach them how to be healthy, and not even in terms of diet, but in terms of, and I tell all my clients and their parents this on step one of, my goal is not to make you just lose weight or do whatever it is. My goal is to teach you how to take care of your body and respect your body well, so that when you go into high school or college and afterwards, knowing here's how to be healthy. It's not about restriction, it's about being balanced and having a fun lifestyle, knowing how to do it well, and keeping them safe.
And how long is your program?
I like to do 6-month programs, and I've found, since I'm so education-based, it's hard to get everything instilled in them that I need to in even 3 or 4 months, and I like having a couple months, because like even first step's always going to be, do you track food yet? Have you ever tracked food before? And if they say no, I'm like, cool, I'm not going to give you a full meal plan off the bat and say track everything you eat now. I'm like, that's overwhelming. That's not fair to you. You're not going to have as good a progress. So I'll say, let's start with one area that's the most important. Let's start with protein. Let's start there and track that. Here's your recommendation of what to eat now. It's lower than your body weight. I'm not going to make you start there all of a sudden, but 6 months, education-based, start slow. We progress at their level when they're ready to. A very step-by-step approach of let's hit the key things like protein, movement, rest, and water first. Let's get those knocked out. And it has to be about, like I said several times, of creating actual lifestyle changes. If I tell you, here's a plan you should eat every single day, you'll lose 15 pounds and then you'll be good to go. Good luck. Like, that's not a lifestyle change. That's a short-term diet.
Right.
So I want to teach you in your busy schedule. Tell me where you have gaps to eat. Tell me you have gaps to drink. Tell me about your sleep schedule. Then it says, cool, research shows this. Let's try to do this. Would this fit your schedule? Does this fit what you like to do?
Right.
Is this okay? Cool, let's try it. If it works, great. Now the goal becomes now be consistent. If it doesn't work, great, let's make it shorter.
Yeah.
What if we tried this first? Now you hit it. Now be consistent, then we add on to it.
So you're kind of like walking them through every step by step, everything that you need to
100%.
do. And the results that you help them get is, I mean, are these like tangible goals, like
Sure.
based off of things that they set, or?
Yeah, so every time I have a consult, an initial consult, I always say, what's your short-term goal? Tell me where you want to be in the first 3 to 4 months of our program, and then we'll go into 6 to 8 months. And so most often it's, I want to lose body fat, build muscle. I want to hit this number on the scale they had picked out in their mind. And so my goal becomes, I'm going to help you get there. And while also making sure that we understand what's healthy and what's not. If they have a goal, again, of losing 20 pounds a month, I have to keep it up. Say, hey, you know what, that's not healthy. I've had a few clients, potential clients, call me and say, I am 128 pounds, I'm 5'10", I'm a female, I run 7 days a week, I work out 6 days a week, I want to lose 5 more pounds. Like, what's your body fat? I'm at around like 12 to 13. When was your last menstrual cycle? Like, I don't have it. Like, my body fat's too low. Cool. And you want to lose more weight? Yes. I'm not going to help you with that. That's not healthy. My goal above all has to be health.
Yeah.
Health and longevity has to be. And so we set goals together that we have to agree on that are healthy for them and attainable, then we go for it. And the funny part about that too is if I told you how much weight you want to lose, you probably say, I want to lose 15 pounds, I want to get to this weight.
Right.
Every single person, male or female, that I've had say that ever, I asked them, I'm going to make you work out and lift weights. What if you were 5 or 6 pounds heavier than that, but you looked strong and you looked lean, and you looked healthy, but you cared, you weighed 5 pounds more? Every single
Then the
person.
goal that they set.
Yeah,
Okay.
then the lower weight goal.
Yeah, then the lower weight.
Every single person that said, no, if I look good, I don't care. Right. It's not about a weight. It's about how you're going to look, how you're going to feel.
That was me. That was me too. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I love catching females in that for sure. Because I know they're usually heavier or harder on themselves on the scale. They're a lot heavier with the pressure to lose weight or be small, which makes me very sad because I think, again, if they went back into the working out, that does everything for you. So I love when I get a female that's like, I want to hit 120, then they hit 130, they have muscle. Like I think I got a 50-something-year-old female client right now that's put on probably 6 pounds of muscle and lost body fat, and she's around 145. She's like, I want to get 140. Like, but you've put on this much muscle. She's like, I know, I look better than I ever have, and I feel great. I'm like, great. She's like, you're right, I'm happy. It's good. Yeah. Not about a weight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I bet that's what you live for.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, are you accepting any clients right now? I mean, are you at capacity, or are you still available for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Always accepting clients, and in a big growing phase right now. I actually partnered with my gym. I go to Recess Gym in Dallas, and I'm a part of the Recess RX program now, where I help the 8 members of the gym. They have a doctor with the program too, so we're all going to kind of refer back and forth to each other. So, in a big growing phase now, getting a new platform built out to have my company actually expand and look at the hire coaches in the next year. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how do we get a hold of you, man? I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm watching this interview. I'm watching you. How can I get a hold of you?
I would say just reach out on Instagram. And if you want to follow me there, I follow my clients back. I love having conversations there. That makes it simple and easy. Just go to Jace Rhoden or go to Fit for Him on my website or my business page. Yeah, JACERHODEN. This first and last name for my personal page, and I put usually my business stuff on my business page. Fit for Him. Yeah.
All right, and that's how we're going to sign up if we're interested.
Yeah, reach out there. I'll talk back to you. We'll get a call set up. We have a free 20, 30-minute, what I call discovery call, where I just want to hear more about you, your history, what's going on, and then I'll tell you more about what I do. And this will see if we're going to be a good fit or not. And then if we are, then we're just going to go forward from there and get you ready.
Awesome. And is there any other thing that you want them to do or go follow you? Are you present on any other place where we can get some other of your content or your gems?
Yeah, not right now. I focus mostly on Instagram. I've got a Facebook page that I push a lot of my clients to for a group in there.
Okay.
So if you want to be a part of that, that's where I would typically do more of my free video calls sometimes if anybody needs something like that. But most of what I do is Instagram based and trying to reach out and go that way.
All right. Yeah. Well, hey man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm so grateful that you were here to talk to us, man. So I really appreciate it, and I'm sure whoever's watching had a lot from it. So I just want to shake your hand
Thank
again.
you. Appreciate you.
Everything, man.
This was great.
And we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right.